What's going on, everybody? This is Goofy Rexy. I hope you guys are all doing well. So 2020 has been a tough year, right? To say the least. And there's been a lot of things that we don't like, dislikes, I should definitely say. But there's definitely been some likes and some things, even in Marvel Strike Force, that I've really enjoyed too as well. Some improvements and some additions in Marvel Strike Force that I want to talk about today. So I'm going to talk about the top five, Marvel Strike Force improvements and additions that I like, so far. I think have actually improved the quality of the game. So we're actually just going to start off with the first on my list here. And the first thing that I really, really enjoyed that they did were these new character releases. Now, I know they're releasing them very quickly and it's kind of hard to keep up with it, right? And I completely understand that. But for me, a lot of the complaints were, or as a community, a lot of the complaints previously were that we were not getting enough characters being added into Marvel Strike Force. And there was a little bit of a frustration, where that was concerned. Well, they kind of flipped it tremendously, but they definitely flipped it so that now we're getting a lot more of the newer character releases, more consistently. And this year we've had a lot of really good characters. I mean, Symbiote Spider-Man was a character that we got this year. Emma Frost is a character that we got this year. Beast, Squirrel Girl, Dr. Octopus, a new legendary, and Black Bolt. I'm gonna kind of tie in there too as well because he was late at the end of last year, so I'm gonna kind of tie in that. But that's really the full Inhumans team was also a team that was added into the Marvel Strike Force game. So there's a lot of new characters that are coming into the game now. They're good characters. Some of them are not great characters, right? But they're still good characters. They still have use. They're still definitely plug and play-ish. Some of them, they're fully completing some teams. Emma is dope. I mean, Emma, Symbiote, Spider-Man, those are like the two, highlighted top characters that I think have been added to Marvel Strike Force this year. So one of my biggest additions or improvements that I've liked that they've done this year is that they've added some new characters, and they're doing it at a too fast of a pace, but I definitely still like the fact that they're definitely doing it, and I can appreciate that. Now, the next thing that's on my list here is the addition of some new campaigns. So once again, I think, for later game players, a lot of them were always complaining about, listen, we don't have new content. We don't have things that we can do here. We're kind of running out of things that keep us engaged in the game. So they added some new campaigns. The new Heroes campaign was added, right? Which of course gave us an ability. They made some more players farmable. Characters like Colossus, became farmable in Heroes 7-9. Previously before, I believe this was Black Widow, that was right here. So now, now of course Thor is being farmed there too as well. And of course, Black Widow also has her own node. Doom's Influence also is one of those things that I think has been really good, really good for newer players, I should say. Really good for new and beginner players is Doom's Influence. Doom's Influence was very good, because it made a lot of characters that previously were difficult to farm, or it would take a little bit longer for you to be able to get to, now they're available in earlier nodes. So I know we're talking about how they've added newer nodes, but a lot of these players or characters that were not available earlier, now available now. Hawkeye is, in Heroes 1-9. If we go to villains, Black Widow, who used to be, she was once not really farmable, and then she became a late game farm. Now she's added to the villains campaign in Heroes 1-9. And the Wave 1 Avengers team is now a recommended beginner team for a lot of newer players because they're easily accessible, and they're also good early, and they're also good later game because you need them for those Doom campaigns. The Doom campaigns were added. Some new chapters for the Nexus campaign was added. New chapter for the Villains campaign was added, which gave us availability to be able to farm a Hela. We were able to farm Karnak. So they've made a lot of these characters now. While yes, late game farms, they've added a lot of these characters now to nodes so that you can farm them to be able to get those legendaries. So I think the new additions for campaigns has been really good. I think also even now with the new addition of the Greek difficulty sliders, yes, it's very, very difficult once you get to difficulty 3 and and so on and so forth. But the point is that you now have new content in the game that you did not have before, that now kind of extends maybe the fun of the game, gives you a little bit more of a challenge. So in my opinion, I think that this is one of the improvements that they've made that I actually really kind of appreciate, in my personal opinion. Now, the next thing that's on my list here that I really liked, and this is probably just basically this is my favorite team right now, apart from the Young Avengers. Don't judge me. There's some infatuation that I have with the Young Avengers team, but them adding a full symbiote team was all I dreamed of. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. A full symbiote team was all I dreamed of, y'all. It just, the fact that we have a full symbiote team now is super exciting. Now there's some other characters that I probably would have liked added to the symbiote team, but this is a strong team. Anti-Venom is so much fun. You know, a lot of fun to play with. Symbiote Spider-Man, arguably one of the, I love, like, I'll talk about it till I'm blue in the face. Symbiote Spider-Man's animations are some of the best animations in Marvel Strike Force. The symbiote team, their animations are some of the best animations that you'll see in Marvel Strike Force. Also like Domino's, you know, clip too as well. You know, and see another new character, Domino, X-Force, you know, that was also added to Marvel Strike Force. But a lot of some really cool animations here from the symbiote team. I love the full symbiote team. You know, this is probably just more of a comic book bad, whatever, that I really enjoyed. Being able to, you know, use them in raids. They're so good in raids, and I've used, you know, Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man in Dark Dimension. I'm gearing up right now, Carnage, to be able to do my Dark Dimension 3 city node. Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I just absolutely love this team. I think that there's a lot of quality that they bring to this game. They're a fun team. They're exciting. For me, it's not just about having a team that's good, or great. It's also about having a team that's exciting. And I think that the most exciting team for me, you know, yes, Black Order is good. You know, yes, Inhumans were good. Yes, you know, the new Sinister Six team is also pretty fun too as well. But listen, the symbiote team was an extremely great addition that I absolutely loved being added here to Marvel Strike Force. Now, the next on my list here, number 4 on my list that I want to talk about are ISO 8s. You know, Red Stars are extremely RNG based, right? And that's really been our only additional upgradable system that we have for characters is having Red Stars. And now we have ISO 8s. And I know in the beginning it got a little clunky and it wasn't as fluid as we would have desired for it to be. But I really like this new upgrade system that they have here in Marvel Strike Force with ISO 8s. I think ISO 8s have added a little bit of an excitement feature in terms of being able to customize some of your characters, you know, trying out these different ISOs. I don't necessarily like the fact that if you want to change class, once you've upgraded a singular class, that if you want to change class, that you have to spend, you know, the ions to do it. Or let's put it this way. I don't like the fact that the ions are such a bottleneck that you don't have enough to be able to change class. That kind of takes a little bit of the theory crafting aspect of it out, because for the most part, ISO 8s, it's kind of like with a character, right? Like once you get them to level 60, gear tier 10, 6664, you have a clear idea as to what that character can do now, and then you can make a decision. Okay, do I upgrade this character further? For the most part, with ISOs, you got to get them to like level 3 before you can kind of get a really good idea as to how well they work at that particular ISO class. So that's kind of the way I view it too. But at the same time, I do like the upgraded class, the fact that you could use ISO 8s. It's been something that's been rumored in the game for a long time, and now we actually have it here. So I'm very excited about ISO 8s. I'm excited about, you know, the tier 2 ISOs that are coming. I hope that they make, hopefully, please make, you know, some of these ions more available, easily accessible, you know, to us, so that we can do a little bit more theory crafting. You know, like for me, I like using, sometimes I like using Thanos as a raider. Sometimes I like using him as a striker. It depends on the match, right? I would like some more customization and ease, you know, to be able to do that. But I do like the ISO 8 system. I think it's one of the best things that they've actually done, you know, as improvements to Marvel Strike Force this year. Now, last on my list, definitely not least, and we're definitely going to talk about a few other things, you know, also. But I do this feature right here, Blitz Sim. This was the whole enchilada, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was it for me. This was it for me. I love Blitz Sim. Blitz is something that I dislike. I've disliked it for a very long time, and nobody could convince me otherwise to enjoy it. But the fact that Blitz Sim came into this game, now that they actually did it, and they did it this year, really excited me, because now I can go and I can take a rotation, just take 3 to 5 minutes and full on complete a rotation. If I want to get a little bit more interactive with Blitz, I can by doing manual Blitz. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not really doing much manual blitzing at all anymore, actually. But the point is, I have an opportunity to be able to do it, but mostly I'm doing this Blitz Sim. I've been able to get more points. Obviously, the whole community is benefiting from more points. I think that even more so now than ever with, Blitz Sim being a feature and it being so easy for everybody to Blitz Sim, I do think that you probably want to think about shards, like maybe like Blitz shards, like splitting it a little bit, maybe just making 2 shards, so that some of the beginner to earlier mid-game players can still compete. That would just be one of my suggestions, but I do like this Blitz Sim feature. I think it was released perfectly. It hasn't really been clunky, like Real-Time Arena. That's a little clunky, right? Matchmaking has been kind of terrible, but the point is that overall, this has actually been a really solid feature that they've added to the game. Would like for it to be added to some other areas like raids, but with the difficulties improving and increasing in raids, I think, maybe might not be as viable as an option, but at least being able to have it as a feature there would also be kind of cool in my personal opinion. A few of the things that I actually wanted to make mention of is this is an honorable mention, which is this alliance view. Right now, this alliance view, before you had to wait for a load screen and to be able to go in to view your alliance members, to look at TCP, to look at who's donating, to look at some other things, within the Alliance tab. Now I'm able, who's donating StarTech, things like that. Now you can just click on this and click on any one of these tabs, and then you have access to the Alliance screen. That was a really cool feature that I think that was dope that they added, into the game. Another thing, that I wanted to talk about too was the roster, the save squads, that they added save squads into your actual roster view. And not only that, they went the extra step to where you can actually just edit it now. Previously before, when you try to change or manage your save squads, you could, let's say I wanted to put Thanos here, and if I wanted to save this squad, it would create an entirely new save squad that I would have to reorganize and bring back up to the top. But now with this feature, I can just save it, and then when I go back, Thanos is right there. Let's actually switch this back to make sure that we don't keep it as such. But now, we can easily edit the save squads here. This is one of the low-key, really, really dope features that they've added to Marvel Strike Force that I really actually enjoy. And then another thing that I'm really excited about, this is a personal thing. I pulled my first 7 red star, y'all. I got 7 red stars on Anti-Venom, baby. Don't play with your boy. Your boy is ready. I'm not going to see it until 2026, but the gold stars, that is. But I pulled 7 red stars on Anti-Venom, baby. We in this, all right? So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be able to get on the 7 red stars at some point. I'm more excited to be able to use them in Dark Dimension 3 too as well. I mean, that's one of my things, but super excited. And the last thing, Scopely, I gotta give Scopely a shout out. On this last honorable mention here, and that they have actually improved their communication. Now, some of their communication is still rather confusing, fountainable, a lot of things are still very confusing. Orbs, that characters are farmable through orbs. There's been a lot of things that are confusing, but overall, guys, they've done better with their communication. They've actually been getting information out to us. Sometimes the information that they get out to us is really kind of like, we already knew that, but still, or it wasn't really anything crazy, but they're still communicating on a regular basis. They're giving us more blog posts. They're responding back to issues and things that happen in the game more frequently. So we really got to give a shout out to Scopely, man, and say, listen, for your communication, you guys have improved the quality of your communication. You have improved the frequency of your communication, which is more important, I think, in my personal opinion. And I actually really, really appreciate that. So Scopely, thank you so much for doing that. But listen, guys, this is my list. What are your guys' lists? Let me know what you guys think are the top 5 improvements, or additions to Marvel Strike Force that you guys really, really enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys so much. And please also, if you have any questions about anything, guys, there is a link below If you have any questions, you can always leave it in the comments. That's the first thing. But there are also some other links where you can connect with me: Twitch, Discord, also Amazon coins, guys. Right now, I'm being sponsored by Amazon coins. Promotions is going on right now where you can get 20% off. So please make sure that you do click on that link as well, guys, so that you can get those those discounts in Marvel Strike Force. A lot of new characters coming out, that you're probably going to want to consider buying. So make sure that you're getting that currency in the game and getting those discounts early. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys so much. Y'all be blessed. Y'all have a Merry Christmas too as well, and y'all be safe.